Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, I don't know anybody who does it. Welcome back to the very unofficial travel guides here on YouTube. I'm Morgan, and today I'm gonna give you like 26 cruise-related mini story times. It is your lucky day if you're one of the people who like to watch these story times and hear me go off on tangents and babble on about a lot of things that don't necessarily fit together. It's gonna be one of those videos, I can feel it already. And you know, I wanted to ask you guys, and believe me, I don't take this as any kind of criticism, but the question I wanted to ask is, does anybody watch these storytime videos to help them fall asleep? Or does anybody tend to fall asleep in these storytime videos? And the reason I'm asking is because there's a YouTuber that I like to watch when I want to try to sort of like calm down and fall asleep. It's Charles Gross. I don't know if you've heard of Charles Gross. He lives in New York and he just sort of talks about his luxury life and things like that. And there's something about, not all of his videos, but a lot of his videos, he has a very calming voice, especially when he's filming later at night. I think he's trying to be quiet, and so he just gets into this like kind of rhythm, and something about it just makes me sleepy. And I've started so many Charles Gross videos and I have no idea what happens at the end because I'm like by the time it's over. So, does anybody use my videos for that? If you do, let me know. All right, what I actually wanted to talk about in this video is something I posted on Facebook yesterday. It's this. I made one of these like, you know, give yourself a point for memes that are all over Facebook now. Like, I think the one that's most popular, the one that I've seen most of my friends post is give yourself, or it's the picky eater contest or whatever. So you give yourself 1 point for everything on this list that you don't like to eat. And then there's all sorts of them, like, are you high maintenance? Give yourself 1 point for all of these things, whatever. And so I decided to make one for just, it's like a cruise expert test. It's become the most popular thing that I've ever posted on Facebook, and it hasn't even been online for like a day and a half yet. So I thought I would take the opportunity to talk a little more about it because people seem to be interested in it, and go through all the points that I got and just like tell a little story or explain how I got those points. And that's what I'm gonna do right now, after I get something to drink. Decaf. Okay, so I need to look at it again to make sure that I don't miss any points. This is what it looks like, and I got 26 points, and these are the points I got, starting at the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. Name that musical. All right, inside cabin. I definitely got a point for that. You get 1 point for each thing, not like as many times have you done it, just 1 point if it is true for you. So, I have had inside cabins on our very first cruise on the Monarch of the Seas. No, on the Monarch of the Seas we had an ocean view. First time we had an inside cabin was on our 2-week Mediterranean cruise to Israel on the Mariner of the Seas. So that was an inside cabin. Did we ever have? As you can tell, I didn't really think about this in advance. I'm just sitting here and telling it to you as it comes to my head. I think that was the only time we ever had like a real inside cabin. On our Legend of the Seas cruise, leaving from Hamburg here up to the fjords, we booked an inside cabin, and then at check-in, we got upgraded to an ocean view. So I think we've only had one inside cabin. All right, let's move on. The ocean view cabin, I've had one of those on the Aida Luna, Geez, I'm having a hard time concentrating. I don't know what the deal is. It's early in the morning. A lot of times I've been making these storytime videos actually on Saturday night, and as you can see, it's light outside. It's actually sunny today, but it's cold outside. Anyways, just now I'm realizing I should have done a little bit more waking up before I sat down to talk to you guys. Ocean view. I've had it on the Monarch of the Seas on our very first cruise. That was probably the smallest cabin that I've ever had on any cruise ship, even including the inside cabin. Then we had one on the Aida Luna, and we got upgraded to one on the Legend of the Seas. And then that moves on to the next point, balcony cabin. All of the other cruises I've been on have all been balcony cabins, except for the Harmony of the Seas, where it was a virtual balcony cabin. So That's another point. And you know, as I'm sitting here and thinking about it again, that virtual balcony on Harmony of the Seas, it's a really cool concept. And it's something that I can highly recommend if you don't have the money or you don't want to spend the money for a real balcony. A virtual balcony costs just a little bit more than I think the normal inside cabin. And it brought so much value, and it was just such a cool thing to have. So I can highly recommend that. And you can search through my library to take a tour of that cabin and see what the virtual balcony was actually like. And I know that a lot of cruise ship lines are offering that now, so something to consider for your next cruise. Suite. I've never stayed in a suite. It's outside of our budget, so we don't spend that kind of money. We're fine with a balcony cabin. If you really, really want me to stay in a suite sometime, let me know. And visit patreon.com/veryunofficial. Medical center visit. Yes, well, if you've been here for a while, you know that on the Harmony of the Seas, I had a very frustrating experience where I slit my foot open on a rock at the beach and spent the rest of the day trying to get medical attention, and I ended up getting stitches in my foot, and it was a really big bummer. So I have visited the medical center, and actually, I want to say I visited the medical center on the Freedom of the Seas too. But why? What was I looking for? I think I needed some aspirin or something, and I didn't want to buy a big package in like the duty free because it was so expensive. And I remembered that on the Harmony there was like a little vending machine, and I'm pretty sure that's what I did on the Freedom of the Seas. So I've visited a medical center twice actually. The next thing is bought art, and no, I have never purchased any art on board, but after I did my video about 5 ways to get free drinks on a cruise, a lot of you guys wrote to me to say that you have been to those art auctions or those art events and you have purchased art. So I guess that kind of surprised me. I always thought that was kind of a thing that was just there for show and that nobody really purchases any of that, but apparently they do, and I mean, I have no problem with that. It's not something I'm gonna do, but it's cool that other people do it. Moving on, the next one is played trivia, and I think I've played trivia probably on every cruise I've ever been on. Marcus and I love to go to those little, you know, like entertainment things like Name That Tune, which I think is also a point on here. Well, I'll get to it. Name That Tune, bingo, trivia, all those little games. I don't know. We love to do that. And I also see that they're getting more and more popular, at least on the cruises that we've been on, because I feel like you have to get there, or that we've noticed we've had to get there earlier and earlier in order to even get a seat. So another point. Next one, horrible hangover. Yeah, I've probably, on most of my cruises, I've probably gotten this point, especially the ones where we have the drink package. It's just so easy to take it a little bit too far, I guess, especially when you're not thinking about what the drinks are costing. And I've mentioned this before, getting a hangover on board a moving cruise ship is like the worst thing you can do to yourself, because then not only are you feeling sick, you've got a headache, you want to puke, but like, it's never quiet, and the ship is moving, and it's just so awful. So piece of advice to you, have a good time, but do it in moderation, because having a hangover on a cruise ship is like 10 times worse than having a hangover on land. Moving on to the next point, forgot the cabin number. Also, every cruise. I always take a picture of the cabin number when we first board, and that's sometimes the only thing that helps me find the cabin again, because I'm just really bad at remembering numbers. And a lot of times I remember more like the things that we pass on the way to the cabin than the cabin number itself. You know, like, oh yeah, that's right, this is the green stairway, or oh, that's right, this is the wall that has that artwork with the Beatles on it. And that's how I sort of like navigate back to the cabin. Do any of you guys do that too? Either take a picture of your cabin number or like remember the things on the way to the cabin. You know, on the first day, I can't think just like one time, all right, 70233, that's our cabin number. I won't remember it. Things like that, they just don't stick in my head. But I can't be the only one who's like that, right? Moving on, played shuffleboard. I didn't get a point for that. I don't think I've ever played shuffleboard on a cruise. Don't know how you play it. I'm not necessarily interested in playing it, and I think it's one of these really old-fashioned cruise traditions that's probably pretty much dying. In fact, do they even have shuffleboard courts on the newer ships? Anybody who's been on like, you know, one of the really new ships recently, like the Sea Cruisers people are on MSC Seaside right now, or just got back from there. So did they have shuffleboards on there? Or if you've been on, you know, any newer ship recently, did you see shuffleboard courts? Because I'm wondering if just eventually they're just going to stop making them. Because really, who plays shuffleboard? Who does that? Not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I don't know anybody who does it. All right, up to the top of the next row. Shook captain's hand. I've done that a few times. In fact, on I think on our transatlantic cruise, we were invited to, no, it was on the Getaway. On the Getaway, we were invited to like a special captain's cocktail reception, and so got to shake his hand there. Usually on one of the first nights of the cruise, there's like a special show in the theater where some of the crew is introduced, including the captain. And if you remember who he is, you'll see that he's actually walking around the ship a lot, usually. So if it's something you really want to do, like get a picture with the captain or shake the captain's hand or whatever, it's really not that hard to do. The next point, had the drink package. Yes, I've had drink package. I've also not had the drink package. I made a whole video about if I think the drink package is worth it or not, and it all depends on who you are, who you're cruising with, and where you're cruising to. I got a point for that because I have had the drink package, including on my last 2 cruises. Gotten sunburn at pool. Yeah, I mean, I think this is there anybody who didn't get this point? How can you not get a sunburn? Well, I suppose, wait a second, if you've only been on one cruise and it was like a Northern Europe cruise in the fall, then you probably did not get a sunburn at the pool. But if you've ever done an island cruise, this is a pretty easy point to get, I'm assuming. All right, won big at the casino. Yep, won big in the casino. I've also lost big in the casino. I guess it's all sort of a matter of, what do you say though? Like some people would consider losing big would be like a total catastrophe for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody has a different impression or a different idea of what a lot or what a little bit of money is. And for me, if I'm on a slot machine and I win like a jackpot of like $150, that's big for me. But I know other people would be like, $150, that's nothing. At the blackjack tables, I bet $150 on a hand or something like that. And I'm definitely not like that. I enjoy gambling. I enjoy sitting at these entertaining slot machines and seeing what happens and having to pick out the numbers and things like that. But I'm not somebody who spends like thousands or even necessarily hundreds of dollars in the casino on a cruise. However, I know that if you do that, you get free cruises. So maybe we should start doing that. Marcus and I have talked about that actually, that, you know, if we spend like $800, $1,000 in the casino on a cruise, we'll probably get invited for a free cruise again, and we might even win some money while doing that. So why not just do it? Do any of you have that mindset? Do any of you always get invited to free cruises just from spending money in the casino? If you do, let me know. Give me some tips on how to make that work out. I would be interested. Moving on, ordered room service. Yes, I've ordered room service and I made a whole video about it on the Epic just recently. I made this room service mukbang where I took you with me and I ordered the food. The food came, I unpacked it, and then we sat down and ate it together. And I really enjoyed doing the video. I thought it was going to be weird and uncomfortable, but it turned out really well, and I've noticed that a lot of you have liked it too, so I definitely will be doing that again. And I think it's going to be like a new tradition. So you can look forward to that too. Oh, I think I skipped a few. I did skip a few. So saw a musical. Of course, I've seen a musical. I go to the shows on every cruise because I love them. And some of them are really, really exceptional. Played bingo, yes. Although we haven't played bingo in a while. Well, I think we played on the Freedom, but I know that Andreas and I didn't play on the Epic. Or did we? Yeah, we did. We did. So yeah, I've played bingo on just about every ship, but I haven't had any luck at bingo in a long, long time, which is kind of frustrating. But it's still, bingo is a good time. The way that they do it on the cruise ships with little sayings that the caller and the players say back and forth to each other can be kind of entertaining. And then of course if you win, that's always fun. But even if you don't win, you're a winner to me. Moving on, seen pier runners. Yes, I've seen pier runners, also something that I look for on cruises. And every time I post a video of pier runners, I get pier runners. Is that pier? I feel like I'm saying pure, but I mean peer runners. Every time I post one of those videos, and some of the videos I've posted them on my channel are very popular, but I get so much hate in the comments of people saying, geez, you're on a fantastic cruise ship and all you have time to do is hang over the edge and make fun of people who are late. What's the big deal? You're on vacation. Who cares about a half an hour? I've started just ignoring those comments because I think it's fun to watch peer runners, and I'm always very sorry for the people who are affected by, you know, coming back late, but very often it just seems obvious to me that these are people who've spent time in a bar or something, lost track of time, and I just think it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible, especially for them, for themselves. They spent how much money on this cruise, and they're risking, you know, like, losing it all. Like, if you miss the boat in a port and it leaves, it's your responsibility to get back to the boat, so you're going to be spending a ton of money to fly like from St. Martin to St. Kitts or something, and to get back on the ship and to get your stuff. And so I just think, I know sometimes things happen that are out of people's control, and of course then it's really sad if they miss the ship, but I just kind of get the impression that the average person that you see running back to the ship are people who it's their fault that it happens. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to be very diplomatic here, but I guess I think if you've ever seen peer runners, most of the times there's just something about them that gives off the aura, not necessarily the most responsible people, if you get my drift. Next point, road water slide. Of course, I talk about this. If there's a water slide on the ship, I'm going to ride it. If there are more than one water slide, I will ride them. And the only time I've ever been on a ship and not ridden the water slides was, unfortunately, the Harmony of the Seas. There are 3 slides on the ship, and I only rode one of them, and then I hurt my foot, and after that I couldn't do it. So, but give me something to look forward to the next time. Going back up to the top, a very controversial point. Have I ever been naked on the balcony, or have you ever been naked on your balcony? And for me, the answer is, of course, a definite yes. And I don't mean that in a perverted, like, exhibitionist way. Absolutely not at all. But the way that some of the cruise ship balconies are designed, it's like it's very private. And if you're out at sea, there's no way anybody can see onto your balcony, well, at least sort of the back end of the balcony, unless they're like looking around the corner like this. And so if I just got out of the shower and it's warm and sunny outside and we're out at sea, then I see nothing wrong with going out onto the back part of my balcony to dry off and sit down and just let, air get into all the places where air usually doesn't get into because I've got clothes on. And so I have absolutely no problems with being naked or other people being naked on their balconies. Now, of course, if you're in port and there's a ship docked right next to you, then I think, don't be naked on your balcony, because then you are, that's like showing off, or that's being an exhibitionist, and I think that's inappropriate. But otherwise, hey, be naked. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Next point, saying karaoke. I didn't get this point. Yeah, I've never sang karaoke on a ship, as a lot of you know if you've been here for a while. I used to sing for a living. I'm a musical actor, or a trained musical actor. I don't do that anymore. I do something a little bit different now for my real life job. But something about singing karaoke, I don't know, just not my thing. I feel like that's for people who don't usually get a chance to sing, so I don't do it. But if we do a group cruise this year, and it's kind of looking like it's going to happen, details will be coming very soon, hopefully, but I want to create some kind of challenge, like if all the people who come with succeed in doing this, or I don't know, I haven't really thought of the details yet, but I want to create some kind of challenge that if the people who are on the cruise succeed, then I will sing karaoke for them, and it'll be like a prize. So, can look forward to that. I won't. Moving on to the next points, ate in the buffet. Of course, as you know, I always eat in the buffet. I almost don't ever eat any place else, because that's what I do. If you've watched enough of my other videos, you know why that is, and I think I made a video about specifically why I don't like to eat in the main dining room. It's in my Storytime playlist, so you can look for it there. 8, and the main dining room, yes, have, but it's been a while. Not something I'm a fan of, but I did get a point for that. 8, and specialty restaurants, yes, got a point for that as well. And a lot of the videos that are going to be coming during the week now are going to be restaurant-related videos. For some reason, that's like what I've got lined up at the moment. It just sort of happens. So there's going to be more restaurant videos coming from cruise ships and also more from theme parks in Orlando as well. So if you're into food, stay tuned. Oh, also I have to post my Taco Bell video. Taco Bell is a Mexican fast food chain in the United States, and I did a video about that when I was in Oregon recently, and so that's going to be another sit down and have lunch with me video, kind of like the room service video I did on the Epic. Moving on, cruise with Royal Caribbean. Yes, I have cruised several times with Royal Caribbean. In fact, how many times has it been? Every time I sit down and try to count, I get confused, but it's been the Monarch, the Mariner, Navigator, Legend, Freedom, Harmony. Am I forgetting one? I think those are the Royal Caribbean ships I've cruised on. Moving on, Norwegian Cruise Lines. Yes, I've cruised with the Epic, the Getaway, and the Epic. Carnival, haven't cruised with Carnival. Disney, haven't cruised with Disney. Celebrity, haven't cruised with Celebrity. And MSC, I have cruised with MSC on the MSC Magnifica, and I've been hearing so many good things about MSC lately. And not only from my friends Mike and Rochelle, but also I saw that the Sea Cruisers are doing a group cruise, or they just finished their group cruise. I talked about this already in this video, didn't I? So if you follow the Sea Cruisers, go over to their channel and tell them that I said hi and that we should collaborate. And also just look at their cruise on the seaside, because it looks like a really cool ship. And those are the points that I got. Go over to Facebook right now if you haven't seen this yet, and then you can put your score there and see how everybody else stacked up. And please share it with your friends on your page so they can do it too, because I don't know, people seem to have a fun time doing these things right now, and I need to create more. So if you have any ideas of more of these kind of memes that I could create and post, let me know. Thanks for hanging out here on another Sunday afternoon with me, and I look forward to sitting down again with you the end of next week to chat again. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. In case you somehow didn't watch the beginning of this video or don't know, I just thought I'd mention it again. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can support me with a little extra help over at patreon.com/veryunofficial, like all these VIPs do, and a lot of other people who aren't on the VIP list. Thank you, as always, to all of you, and bon voyage. No, I want to say some other kind of goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Arrivederci. Ciao. Bye-bye.